This is the best theory in Boruto you have ever heard. Listen, it's not even up for a debate. I'm not even asking for your opinion. In fact, it's not a theory anymore. I literally cracked the plot, I promise. At the end of the video, you will see that Delta is nothing but a neural learning network that transmits human brain studies to code via the earrings, which code then implants into the 10 tails, causing it to become artificially intelligent and eventually aware of its own existence. So without further ado, allow me to blow your mind. Let's go. I have found evidence that the entire story of Boruto is based on a reference from computer science. That is the most important aspect in recent times. It's the future and probably humanity's last invention, artificial intelligence, and its danger of replacing us as the superior race on Earth. This AI is represented as the Shinju. For a while now, I've been telling you that something about the names that Amado gives as cyborgs is a bit odd because they all relate to computer science. But I never figured out the bigger picture until the new chapter where a new god race was introduced, Shinju. There's something very interesting about them. They implied the only reason why they transformed into this form is mainly because of code. Like computer code. They specifically mentioned the fact that they became sentient or aware of themselves, developing an ego. This is exactly the choice of words people use to describe artificial intelligence when it becomes aware of its own existence, the biggest danger of humanity. And once that happens, it's really not that good for us. Because once an AI reaches a certain level of intelligence that it can understand its own existence, like you and me, it will first maybe no longer listen to us. Well, most likely. And second, exponentially grow multiple times more intelligent with each second. I'm not joking. In fact, not only will it become exponentially more intelligent, but also the speed of the constantly increasing learning or growing curve is also exponentially rising. Almost like a virus or rather computer virus, which begins small but exponentially spreads. And so does the Shinju. It also starts with just a few people, but as more of them awaken, more people can work on consuming chakra and knowledge. Especially if the Shinju can also turn others into Shinjus as well. And if you look at their back, the symbol is literally a simplified virus. I will talk more about the Shinju specifically in a moment because there's actually a lot to understand. But first, let me show you why the computer aspect fits so well in regard to all the cyborgs and their names. Amado is obviously the programmer. Then we have Delta, representing the Delta Learning Rule. This is used for updating the neural network, which is a method in AI that teaches computers to process data in a way that is inspired by the human brain. That's why neural. And delta often refers to the error term associated with a neuron's output, and is then used to adjust the weights of the network during training. This is why Amado calls his cyborg daughter Delta and not Akebi, because she is the error version of his daughter. Delta is literally learning to be a human, like an artificial intelligence. Furthermore, delta encoding is a way of storing or transmitting data in the form of different deltas. Just like there are multiple deltas in Boruto, with each of them storing and transmitting data. But where are they transmitting the data? That is the data that, based on computer science and especially AI, is used to learn behaving like a human brain. If Delta is not Amado's daughter but his attempt to make an artificial intelligence, then he must transmit it to something like a piece of code. And by coincidence, the delta sign is a triangle, which Delta is wearing as an earring. The same earring that Code is wearing. It's as if Code is storing a piece of code that he will implant into something that will then suddenly know what life is. Because it was trained by the Delta Learning Rule, which simulates the human brain and causes then a system to become aware of its own existence or develop an ego. But before we talk about code, there's more. And then there's Ada, which is especially interesting because Ada has the ability to literally program reality. Momoshiki even used the specific word programming language, a term only used in computer science. And Ada is also the name of the very first computer language in existence. And guess what? The name Ada comes from Ada Lovelace. Love, such as in Ada's love ability in Boruto. Ada Lovelace is considered the first computer programmer, a female, just like Ada in Boruto is a reality programmer. But when we talk about Ada, we always have to consider her little brother Demon as well, or how they refer to him, her guardian. And here's the thing. With the Ada language, you can create software, but software needs a process that secures its functionality in the background. That process is called daemon in computer science. In computing, a daemon is a background process. Daemons can be used to ensure that programs, like Ada, operate seamlessly in the background, such as for alerting mechanisms, that is, protection, a guardian. So if Amado is the one who's coding, yes, we will come to code in a moment, then it means that he's the one who applied the computer language to change reality. He pre-programmed Ada. But to ensure that Ada, which is the program that Amado prepared, is working smoothly and securely, he created a background process, a daemon, who is protecting Ada at every given moment. Now it gets really interesting. Usually a program isn't pursuing a random result. So if Amado is really the programmer, then Ada has not randomly fulfilled Kawaki's wish. But Amado has literally prepared everything. Literally everything. By the way, this could mean that Kawaki himself is nothing but a cyborg, maybe not even a little bit of a human. It will fit the idea that almost all of his cyborgs have two hair colors, even code after the limiters were removed. So who knows, Kawaki's memory of his past might not even be real. And then of course we wonder what genetics he might have. You know, he looks a lot like Naruto and Sasuke, who are obviously part of Amado's plan, in fact, since the beginning. And so, although Ada and Kawaki think they have free will, they might just have been predetermined to do exactly what they did. But believe it's free will. They are cyborgs. We should never forget that. Amado has literally confirmed that he has an emergency button with which he can deactivate Kawaki. That doesn't sound human at all. If he can shut down Kawaki, he can manipulate him, give him fake memories and stimulate his own decisions. If Kawaki is not a human, then the Otsutsukification certainly made him alive. But anyway, so we should ask ourselves mainly why exactly was Amado causing the reality change in which Boruto would become Kawaki and be exiled from Konoha? And if that theory is true, then we don't really have to speculate, we just have to assume that whatever effect was caused is exactly what Amado planned. But for that we have to look at the main tool Amado used, code. Because his name is Code. A code is a chunk of computer language that is meant to create a certain effect in a system. You apply a piece of code to change something. Makes sense. In that case, Amado, just like with Kawaki and also Ada, could likely have altered Code's free will. He might even have created a hologram of Ishiki appearing in front of Code coming from his karma, acting as if he's truly wishing him the best and wants him to fulfill the will of an Otsutsuki, which was extremely weird and out of character. So it's clear that either there's more to the will of Otsutskis, and they are much more united with each other than we assumed, or Ishiki has a plan B on how he could have used Code using the 10 tails to somehow activate his reincarnation. It was definitely a possibility, but now with the new development it actually looks like Amado might have faked this moment to make Code believe that he has to do what he did to the 10 tails, so that the next step of Amado's plan can begin. It's definitely possible that Amado controls him without him knowing about it. And this is pretty much confirmed because one of the Shinjus implied that Code is indeed being used without noticing it. So whoever belongs to that specific memory that revealed that Code is indeed being manipulated must also somehow be in contact with Amado, because he's the only one who can manipulate Code. Nobody else from these victims could have known about Code or Kara to understand who could possibly manipulate him, especially since most of them, probably almost all of them, are already defeated besides Amado, if there isn't an unknown member. And there's Koji, but more to that in a moment. It's also noticeable that they completely ignored Code, did you notice? And only targeted Boruto, that's so weird. Of course, one could say that this is their instinct, but they clearly confirmed that their urge for knowledge is much bigger than consuming an Otsutuski. In fact, it even looked like they purposely let Boruto escape, which would again hint at the idea that Amado has actually pre-programmed some sort of behavior code into Code's Shibai ability that will then affect the Shinju's behavior. This is why they let Boruto escape, because Koji is still fulfilling his purpose. And this is also why they let Code escape, because he too didn't yet fulfill his purpose, which is why he was literally clowned and told in his face that he's being controlled. So Code's existence will also play a significant role in the future. I believe it has something to do with his white and Kabaki's black karma, yin and yang, the creation of all things, and the reincarnation of Shibai. So, quick summarize. With Ada, the computer language, he programmed the software meant to change reality. That is the condition he needs to make his artificial intelligence work properly. For that, he created a demon to protect the software in the background process, while he was developing a human behavior using delta learning, which transmitted to a code via the triangle that was later implanted into a system that became aware of its own existence like an artificial intelligence. So yes, Amado is completely involved in the creation and programming of the Shinjus. But how did Amado do this? If you remember, I predicted that Amado purposely made Code divide the 10 Tails beasts because of Shibai. For that, he had to get Shibai's DNA into the system of the 10 Tails. That's why he gave Code the black bands, because their essence is based on mixing blood with chakra. And now we come back to the question, what exactly was Amado trying to achieve with Ada creating that changed reality? Well, exactly that. He wanted Boruto to leave, meaning he planned from the beginning to get Sasuke absorbed, so that Koji can become Boruto's master. Now that we have established everything, let's return to the question, what are the Shinjus? I mentioned earlier that they are probably wearing the symbol of a virus, implying not only their exponential growth in strength and intelligence, but also the fact that they will increase in numbers like zombies, especially if they have the ability to control all 10-tailed monsters that Code already spread all over the world. As we know, the Shinjus have full control over Shibai's ability, so they can teleport to every single one of those beasts and, with that, target especially strong warriors. What's even more intriguing is the idea that maybe if they really are one shared organism, then it's possible that they all share the same abilities. So with every single new Shinju, they not only gain a new ally like Nagato's pains, but also increase the strength of each and every one according to the strength and the newly gained abilities of the new Shinju, which is why maybe they have the Rinnegan if Sasuke provided the DNA. This will certainly make them stronger than a normal Otsutuski, but what really makes them dangerous is their nature. There is a reason why Shinju sounds like Shinjutsu. Shinjutsu means Shin, divine or god, and Jutsu, technique. So it describes the fact that these abilities are the ones gods use. No chakra manipulation, no hand signs, no complicated training, just simple control of nature and physics in different forms. But here's the thing, Otsutskis are only considered gods because they consume god trees. So the true gods are the god trees. Shinju, on the other hand, is once again a combination of two words. Shin, divine or god, and Ju, tree. But they are not the tree, so they are gods. It all starts with a 10-tailed seed. From here, the seed can either grow into a tree or become a god. It all depends on how the Otsutskis interact with that seed. If they are fed to the seed, it turns into a tree. If the DNA of an Otsutsuki is implanted into them, it looks like a different development takes place. What do you think of this theory? Let me know. I still can't believe what is happening. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like. It really helps me a lot. And if you want to see more Boruto content, then subscribe to this channel with the notification bell activated for more videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.